Welcome, everybody, to FMA Talk Live. I'm your host, Datu Tim. This is my wonderful co-host.
Peachy Ty, welcome.
How is everyone doing? So, let me see. A lot of things going on. We're a little off because we were doing a show last night. We were guests on a show last night. And that was a little off because the host was in a different time zone when he's normally not. So he thought we were starting at 8 p.m. his time, which would have been 10 p.m. our time, which really wasn't going to fly well. No. And I think it, unfortunately, I think the show had its casualties of that. I think there were some things that we wanted to talk about that we didn't because of, we were doing other stuff, like trying to get caught up and think, oh, geez, we were supposed to have this all thing set up and it wasn't. And, it is what it is. So today's topic, it's more than one. It's part of it is stick fighting stupid for self-defense. We're also going to talk about some other common thoughts of, do you need to train everything with both hands? Is training a stick the same thing as training a blade? That kind of stuff. So it's going to be a little there. Matt Jones, OMG. Hey there, Ty. Let me see here. What's this? I can't even see that because
You may need a haircut. Yes, actually, I just shaved this weekend. I never do that.
Okay. Terrell Richardson says, hello there.
Hey, Terrell.
From Maryland.
We got two Terrell.
Hey,
Terrell. Terrell.
Oh, Terrell. I keep going back.
Danny Terrell and Terrell.
Yeah. Hey, Terrell, are you Terrell? Are you you were in Atlanta? Are you near Glen Burnie? Because I was down there 2 weekends ago. But and then Danny Terrell. Yep. What's going on? And then all the way from Canada with Mr. Hiltz. And then we're going to talk about this. I was trying to look up Bat Boy. I can't find him because I waited too late. And, of course, my other co-host is talking in the background. Will you be quiet? Oh, my goodness. I'm whipped. I had good news. I saw my doctor today, and we don't necessarily think I'm going to need surgery on my foot.
Oh, yeah? Good. All right.
Okay. So we're going to do some kind of sonic treatment. But I think Tier's trying to give me some sonic treatment right now. Hey, buddy. Brennan, get over here. Get out of the way. We finally got our new car to replace the new car that got damaged. Yay.
Yeah.
So that 2 weeks after the car accident, it's all been replaced.
Same kind or what? I don't know what
same kinds. Red. It's red, so that's cool.
That's the kind of the car.
That's the color we wanted. So we got a new Blazer, and we had settled for a black one because getting vehicles is very hard right now.
Can be, yeah.
So we ended up we settled for a black one, and then of course on Janice's birthday I was driving and a guy blew through a red light and hit me. So that was fun. Totaled the car. Mm-hmm. So for you, everyone out there, anytime you get your airbags deployed, that is pretty much a done deal. The car is over because the aftermarket does not have the ability to put them back in and guarantee they're going to work. So yeah, so I have a heel spur and plantar fasciitis, and I have a bone fragment broke off the spur. I've been on steroids and a few. You go, I'm so large because I am on steroids. Yeah.
Not those kind.
No, the wrong kind of steroids. Damn. Okay. I was hoping they have muscles finally, but so I went through all that. It's not helping, so I went in today, and we talked about it. I said, "Listen, let's do this. Let's do surgery if that's what's needed. Because do it now before it's that it'll affect my health later down the road. Because obviously I can't do any cardio whatsoever.
Kind of need to be on your feet unless you're going to be, I don't know, doing the arm. They have the arm cardio.
Well, I'm actually probably going to look at doing boxing more while I, just the upper body routine that I normally do. So it's not what I want to do, but it's what I need to do.
Yep. I
You
got
know,
back into the gym myself. Oh, so speaking of surgery, my right hip was acting up. So you guys know I had a hip replacement 3 years ago, and I still got to get the other one done. And I was about ready to go. Oh my gosh, I need to get more serious. And then that was just one bad day. So they're coming more often. So I will still have that eventually.
okay. Yeah, we'll see. And listen, guys, I was listening. It was that Swedish guy, the karate nerd.
Oh yeah, I like him.
Yeah. Although he needs to talk to us, not some of the people he's talking to.
Yeah, Jesse Enkamp, right?
Yeah, and he was talking to Bill Wallace, a good friend of ours. I've taught with Bill for years. Ty actually got recommendations from Bill on what to do with his hip surgery and all this other stuff. So we talked to him quite a bit. We're going to be teaching, all three of us will be teaching together in April in New Hampshire, which we need to get the host on for the show.
Yes, right. We did last time too, so this would be perfect.
Yes, we did. And I think we need to get the invasion back together for this too.
Yeah, it would be a good one to have a prep and a post one if we have time.
Yeah. And we've got a new member as well.
Yes.
Which we will talk about in the future. So before we get in today's show, I want to talk a little about last night's show. I think, like I said, there's some things I wanted to get into, but I didn't want to get into. Yep, Superfoot. He is Superfoot. Okay. Water aerobics. Yeah, I don't have a pool access at the moment. And then it was nice to meet you, Datu Tim, when he taught the seminar at Master Dominic's. Yep. We're working on getting back there. Yeah. And then, hey, Mr. Guida. So I think we should do a part. I see we've done some shows. I've done some shows that Ty wasn't part of. That I did the Datu series, the Datu's Corner series before it became FMA Talk. Mm-hmm. I did a lot of solo stuff, and I'd like to readdress a lot of those topics because they were good topics. But I think I think, in my opinion, with the two of us on there, we have a much more diversity when it comes to talking about stuff. And good evening from Canada, Maria. Hey, Maria, I'm going to be up the Cambridge on Saturday. And then May de Leon.
Nice. From Philippines, yeah. Magandang umaga.
Magandang umaga. So, but I would like to talk about a few things there. And one of which I wanted, I think that we got some good dialogue things. I want to do a show about how we got the word out back in the day and the challenges we had, because I think a lot of places, a lot of people. So one of the topics that came up, last night was part 2. And we talked about during part 1, Chris Chu and I were talking back and forth on some things. And he goes, Remy used to say stuff, which Chris didn't know Remy. So it really wasn't his place to say anything along those natures. He could always say, my father told me that Remy used to and that would be fine. But to say you knew things, it's another story. But he goes, this guy allegedly was the East Coast rep, and he didn't know who my father was. How could that be? And we talked about that and things that we brought back in the day. Well, first of all, there was no internet, at least not to us mortals, where, the computer god Tye Botting had all this access because college and all the other, and he's in that line of business. So, but the first cell phone with internet wasn't made until 2001. Facebook was 2004 or 5, and that was just for the college kids. YouTube was 2005. Instagram 2010. And back in the day, Ty and I would talk about it all the time. We would run to the outlet. Well, maybe not run, but we'd go to the outlet, whoever would sell martial art magazines. And for me, it was a grocery store. And others it would be like Barnes and Nobles if there was a bookstore nearby.
Or you get a subscription. I had a subscription to Inside Kung Fu.
Yeah, there you go. I used to have them all at one time or another.
Yep.
Rowing machine's good. Problem, I do rows at the gym, but they don't have a rowing machine. So Frank says hello. Hey there, Frank.
Hey, Frank.
Frank, I am glad you're on here. And then MySpace. Hey,
that didn't exist. I'm pretty sure that never existed.
Never existed. And at one time, the one of the most, I think the second most popular CD was AOL.
Yep.
And we go through these things, and we didn't have all this stuff. And Frank, I want to ask you a question. We didn't have any of this stuff. What we had was word of mouth and magazines, print. You'd go places. People would actually snail mail each other. That's back when the post office actually did very well. Frank, my question for you is, I was looking at archive.org, and on archive.org, they bring up the Modern East website, rotary phones per house.
Yep.
Hey, Ferdy, Maganda Gabi, yes. Hey, will you stop biting? My hand was in between the two of them. So, Frank, I was looking up archive.org. Now, listen, guys, if you ever want to look at an old website and see what people put up there or what their claims were back in the day, you go to archive.org, punch in the URL, and it'll bring up a whole bunch of information. Yep. I was looking at the modernearnest.com website, Frank. How many times a year were you bringing Remy in? I think they got the hosts mixed up. But it kind of said that you brought him in twice a year, 3 years in a row. And I would have thought that would have been you and then Brian within a month of each other. By any chance, was that maybe the web designer or host, or whatever designer, maybe they didn't know that there was two different hosts in your area? Here we go. We wrote letters to each other. Come on, Terrell. Danny, you're old enough. We were probably doing messenger pigeons and smoke signals. My dad
used to have pen pals with actual, pen letters. I remember that when I lived in Malaysia.
There we go. Yeah, my dad kicked me to change the channel. I was the remote.
That's right. Yes.
I'll call you before the weekend. Yep. Yeah. Well, and then if you call the wrong number, I misdialed twice in a row. I'm like, y'all call me long distance. You can't even get your number out. I'm trying to do it too fast. My problem.
Some of these people today don't know the horrors of phone numbers with too many nines in them. I couldn't stand those.
Oh my goodness. So, and these are a lot of facts. When you consider what those generation of martial artists back then who were doing seminars. I mean, I was doing very well with my seminars, but Remy was the freaking master at that shit. Oh, sup, TNT. Hey, listen, Renee, I saw your post, but I wasn't last night. When you said hi, Jensen, Tim. Unfortunately, I wasn't in mission control to bring that up there. So I feel disappointed that your witty repartee was not part of the show. And then here we go. How's it from Homer?
All right.
Woo, information publication was a great resource. Yeah,
absolutely.
All right, most years I brought him in once, or some twice.
Okay.
Tony Severi brought him in a couple times. I don't remember Brian bringing him in. I brought him in 10 times. So, You know what I'm going to do? Okay, Brian, I'm not trying to put you. My dogs are going crazy. I'm not trying to put you on the spot. But what I'm doing is I'm trying to document all of Remy's seminars just as a nice database. I've had a lot of them down. I've actually got an old things, Black Belt magazine and stuff. But I started going over archive.org on that. And then I had a feeling they would hurt. I had feelings they would be hurt. Okay.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I got it seemed that what was listed on the website was twice in 2 months back to back. Would you have done 2 months back to back? Mom's here. I'm Papa Bear, by the way, and these.
I mean, maybe that was the time with Severio. That's interesting, though. There was no other names that popped up.
Yeah, I mean, because I was looking at the Modern East website, moderneast.com goes back to 1998. Mine started for the Can-Am chapter of the IMAF started in 1999. So I think it was in April. So I'm gonna look up January real quick. And who knows how accurate these things were, because, it was a pain in the butt back then to update stuff. I also have to see if the camps were listed separately. I don't think they were. Okay, April 11th, Cromwell, Connecticut. It has Were you on 75 Berlin Road? Oh yeah, no, Cromwell Martial Arts. That would be him. That was on April 11th, and then I could have sworn, man, maybe it was the other year. Maybe it was 2000.
Hey Frank, I was wearing your shirt just the other day. Thought of you.
Uh-oh. Well, what was Frank wearing?
There you go. But I'm
here all day. So
okay.
Maybe it was 2000. Yes. Okay. Yeah, okay, that was him there. All right. Yeah. Oh my God. I'm looking at archive.org. It's hilarious. Just looking at what websites looked back in the day. Oh my God, they were horrible.
Mine still is, but yes. At least I hand coded mine.
Well, there you go. Okay. Cromwell, Connecticut, March 19th. Frank Schakowsky. This is 2000. Okay. So 2000 March. And then, okay, here we go. March 19th. Frank. Oh, okay. No, then it was April 9th. So it was like 2.5 weeks. I don't know what. Well, that's all stupid shit.
Maybe people coming and going somewhere else. Maybe
people would have just supported each other. I know Frank did. Okay, I'll get these. I'll try to find. I brought him in twice in 2000. Okay,
nice.
Yeah, so I'll. Yeah. Oh yeah, in August as well. You had George Dumlin with him as well. That's cool. He did a doubleheader. Yeah. Okay. So, what I would like to do is address. Okay. Good. Cool, Frank. So yes, he brought him in twice, and yes, there we go. Okay. So what I want to do is I do want to talk about the future of the art. Not tonight, of course. I want to talk to you about that first because I want to pop some things on. I think because we had two different shows going on, I think there was a way to combine it, but unfortunately there was no. It was dysfunction or I think it was broken because of the stuff we dealt with in with the time differences and all that other stuff, not realizing we were still doing the thing. Okay, and once with Wally J. All right, so here we go. What we got here? Can you get that one? Because my glasses
sure. D-Man from Ottawa. I'm not sure who that is, but I probably might have been on my thing. So, good day from Ottawa, Canada. Thanks, Ty, for indirectly introducing me to Blintwalk during Ty's online COVID seminar. Tom Seythideth introduced Blintwalk and invited whoever wants to join. So you've been training with him for 3 years online. That's awesome.
Nice.
Very cool. Yeah, that was I think that was right after COVID, and I did that first. What do you call it? My FMA spring thing, but online, and then we had a lot of folks.
Was that the one I was in?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Speaking of which, April 9th, 8th, 9th?
8th, Saturday, the 8th.
Saturday. So it's Holy Saturday. Holy Saturday.
All day.
Saturday, Batman. You're doing the spring fling.
Yep.
It's a donation for food, because he's going to be barbecue. He's going to be doing the Chef Boyardee thing.
Yeah. Usually people are pretty good about that. I recoup the food and the rental costs, and we're good to go.
Yeah. So, I mean, in essence, it's a free event. You're just donating towards the facility and food. And if everyone kicks in $10, it goes a long way.
Easy peasy.
So I've been there several times. It's a great event. I highly recommend it.
Family fun.
Mm-hmm.
And familyhood.
And no egos, surprisingly enough, even than when I was there.
It's in a field, so it's big enough.
The cool thing, a lot of times we go around the room when we're there, like, hi, my name's Tim. I teach modern arnis. Boom. Yep. Actually, the last one I was at. So what do you want to go by? I said, just put Tim Hartman. And then I go, no, do the Mighty Wizard Tim because of Monty Python. Unfortunately, there's a few people that are kind of in that clan area down there, and we just figured that people might not get the joke.
Mighty, Grand, whatever. Yeah, let's
Grand, Poobah, Grand, Supreme, Dragon. I don't want people with all in. Dressed all in white's cool. Not if there's a hood involved.
No.
Dexter James, one of our Marshall brothers. Okay, hello, Datu Tim and Punong Guro. Let me see here. Yes, it was the first after COVID. Okay, good.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because we had Badger, we had Sabrina.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Daryl can't wait. This is cool.
Hey, Darren, awesome.
All right, so
Darren.
Guru. Oh, Matt Jones. What's we got here from Matt? So FMA with what teaches?
I teach FMA, but yes, my other stuff sneaks in, but I'll tell you where it comes from. And so if you want to do that, that's cool. If you don't, you got the core.
So I do want to have and Jamie Seabrook. All right, I'll see you Saturday up in Canada. Oh, wow. Yes, I'm going to Canada. Jamie was he was one of the London, Ontario crew. Mm-hmm. So first, a
lot of Canadians again. This is again Can-Am. Shades of Can-Am.
Can-Am. Do you have anything you want to throw out before we start today's topic?
No, but actually, well, yeah, I think no, I don't. But I think we do need to, slam onto the table what today's topic is, and then go to the next portions of it. But yeah, let's do it modular if that's cool.
Okay, so 3 topics, all in the same kind of mindset. Is stick fighting stupid for self-defense? Now, let me see here. Bat Boy made some comments. Self-defense is generally pointless. Study an art, any art. If you don't want to do that, avoid dark alleys.
So now he set me up for one of my favorite sayings. Some people will ask you, hey, what's the best martial art to study? And what's my answer? The one you do. Do something. Do it.
See, I listen to Ty. So that's one topic. And then maybe that'd be the first topic. Okay. Well, let's see. Let's see. I'll let everyone else here's the other 2, and then if whoever answers first which one we want to go with, we'll go with that first. Okay, so the other topic is, do we need to train everything with both hands? Was that pretty much phrased properly?
Something like that, yeah. Or do we need to train to be ambidextrous?
Ambidextrous.
A little more specific, yeah.
Okay, and then the third topic is training a stick the same thing as training a blade? Because a lot of people tell me it's all the same. It is all the same, but is it? Mm-hmm. It's all the same until it isn't. Let's talk about it. So, everybody, please, whoever chimes in first, which topic of the 3 are we going to go with? Watch, it'll be radio silence.
So I was going to say we can play the what was it? What's that theme? It goes do 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 do.
Hold on, Craig says hello from Canada.
Oh, so see more Canadianians.
All right, can I do this? Can I do this in time? Audio.
You know the clip I'm talking about?
Oh, well, no, the thing here is I do have ability to do stuff like that. Audio, stereo, recording. Oh, where the heck is it? There is a music option. And now I can't find the dang thing. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe it's here. Oh, here we go. I don't like that.
That's not right.
Wait, it would be if. Wait a minute. It could be. Hold on.
Change the lighting.
Stop it! You beat me to it. That's exactly what. Let's see. I think what we need for this. Okay. I think what we want for this is purple. Hey, yeah.
There you go.
Get down with your bad self. Or we go with red. Okay. Yeah, I know that just doesn't work. I'll go back to my blue. Did anyone chime in while I'm playing with this?
Somebody, Coach Danny says define self-defense. Matt Jones says no, it's not stupid. So it seems like the self-defense and the stupid thing might have at least people are chiming in on.
Oh, I can change the tempo. Oh, see anything coming in on my phone here? Okay, so a new comment just came in. Here we go.
It's another one on self-defense and weapons. So he says.
Okay, so I think we've got our answer. So yep. I'll go back to the silly music background, and we will turn that off right now.
I don't have music, but I can.
Okay, so let's talk about this. What do we? Okay, so in general, and here we go. Working in New York City, there's a ton of machete attacks.
Not Cutlass.
Yeah, not Cutlass. That's Barbados.
See, I listen.
There we go. Not learning a weapon defense system put you at a major disadvantage. But weapon defense system, that's a different thing. And that's actually what my topic is really what about. Because you're not blocking a pipe or machete with empty hands. Okay, so, and then no, it's not stupid. Picking up a stick will cause more damage. Yes, using both sides of the body type martial wisdom. Okay, so here is a thought. So what I don't, okay, so I look at, it's a good topic. It's a whole thing to unpack here.
And there's multiple sides to it.
So as most of you should know, if you've watched the show at any amount of time, I've been doing Balintawak for over 2 decades. I love my Balintawak. I don't think it's good for self-defense. Balintawak is a dueling art. 2 fighters training against each other, like boxing, okay? Like judo, like wrestling. Now, the reason why I chose the ones I just threw out there is there's no question that there's elements in all of them that could be applied in street scenarios.
Sure.
But what's the core? So if we're doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, that's all cool, but we've seen top-tier grapplers getting injured and killed because they're doing their trade against people with weapons and getting stabbed and or shot. So I'm not saying the material doesn't work, but if all you have is a hammer and everything looks like a nail to you, sometimes you don't need that nail. I mean, or sometimes you need something other than that hammer. So here we go. As Grandmaster Jerry Nanoy Galano, is that Galano? No, Galliano.
Galliano, I guess.
Franco would say, it all comes from the sword, the stick, and the knife. Okay.
Carl,
who's supposed to go with me to Canada, but he had car problems. That's okay. I'll see him this weekend. Good. Carl Outram is the host of the Canadian seminar this weekend. So, I look at this a lot in Filipino martial arts, and this is the thing that annoys me. And people can call BS on me, or hopefully people will see what I'm talking about. I see all these people training all this wonderful martial material, and we're going to use Filipino martial arts as the example, but I see it in all martial arts, not just Filipino martial arts. And I'm looking at the lock and block from Serrata. I'm seeing the groupings in Balintawak. I'm seeing Hubud and Sombrada drills and all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. But what I'm not seeing is people taking any of that material and try to apply it to common self-defense attacks. I see everyone training stick fighting / dueling, but no defensive tactics. Okay, here we go. Forgot what day it was. I was traveling, tuned into Facebook, trying to listen, but in a bar in Savannah with husband and cannot hear, so unable. We'll catch y'all later. Have a good night. Okay, all right. Here we go. Take care, Kara. Danny, martial arts training isn't self-defense. There you see. You see now. That's why I like Coach Danny. I see too many people. Well, here's a guy who trains fighters. Trains fighters. Okay. And the tactics that you teach in the ring, Danny, we know some of it can be applied in the street. But would you agree that that could also get people in trouble if it's not taught in the right context? And I'll wait for that answer. And this is where I go back to my music. All right, okay, that's bad. So these are my thoughts. I mean, I see phenomenal material, but I don't see people teach. I see good content, but improper context. And look at that. Boom! Just what I was about to say.
Context is everything, and people don't ever
check in the mail, Danny. Thanks for reading the script.
That's right. But context is everything. People don't sweat the details of how the context matters, and it kills us, not just in this, but in every aspect of whatever your job is.
Every martial art.
Your life, your family. Context is key.
There's a video I thought was amazing for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Two kids are playing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and the other pulls like a chalk or lipstick knife out and just like smears the guy.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that didn't work too well. You guess? You think?
Well, but his other comment was fair too. What do you mean by self-defense? And I actually think that most times people are assuming they're on the same page when they ask that question, and they're not.
No. So
there's a bunch of places, and then I'll even talk about another side of things, which we haven't got to yet.
Well, I like talking about, let's use striking arts. A good friend of ours and his top student, Bill Wallace and Terry Dow. Superfoot systems are about fighting in a ring, dueling. If you hang out with the Kempo karate guys, they can fight, but their gear is to teach how to do self-defense. And I think that was the big difference between Remy's approach and a lot of others, where the fighting / dueling was definitely higher up in the curriculum. And the lower level was practice. I mean, why was it the art within your art for some people? Because he was teaching them practical ways to defend against weapons. Most will define
as fighting.
Yep. Now,
I have a problem with that.
So right off the bat, the first thing I want to I look at is, I think it's you cannot, if you're going to teach weapon defenses, then you need, I had someone teach firearm defense. Oh, hey. Dan, how you doing?
Master Dan.
Dan's got a camp coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're down in the Florida area, look up Dan Lohman. He's got the Comaton Conference? Or I don't know, whatever it is, share it with us, because I don't have that in front of me at the moment.
Yep.
Martial arts teach skills that may be useful in self-defense. Boom.
Mm-hmm.
So what I love with my Filipino. So I've been shooting since I was a kid. I would never teach firearm self-defense to anybody, defensive tactics, gun disarms, or whatever, unless we went out shooting on a range first. Okay. Boom. Yes, March 10th to 12th.
Awesome.
All right. Okay. Oh, and is Renee sending me interesting stuff? Okay. Okay. I'm going to share this one. Thank you, Renee. Thank you. I think this is awesome. I got to get to okay, there it is. Boom.
Right.
Never confuse sport with reality. Yep. We don't need to see the face, but we do see the boxer getting stabbed.
Mm-hmm.
At Ryan Boxing Coach. That's that's exactly what I'm talking about.
And that's what I think one Jeff Berger shared it recently as well. So there's a common understanding there. Yep.
Okay, here we go. Would you take that one, please?
Sure. Kurt and from Alaska. Agreed. Context does matter. Would you agree that it is up to the student and the instructor to come to understanding of what is the context of their training? Also, that both parties need to clearly define the end state goal of training, whether it is for art, sports, self-defense, or warfare. I know Tim has a lot of thoughts on this. I would say that if I can start, absolutely, people should be figuring out what is it they want. And what is it that the school and teacher is purporting to give? And those may not match exactly. And a good school will tell you, hey, it's not quite what we do. Here's what we do. I think some of it you'll like, but you might also check out these guys because they do right what you want. That conversation should be had, I think, in very fair, open terms, because if you're not going to stick with it, it's not going to be the art that you do. And then you've just failed again. Yeah. Anyway, quick thought.
No, I agree 100%. Well, here's the thing. So I run a professional school. So when people come in here and they say, they'll ask me, why are we different than all the others? They go, listen, we do a little of everything. Okay. We are street defense oriented. Okay. We still do the art. We still do the sport, but we have a good orientation towards self-defense. So, we talked about this on the show last night. What's the open? I don't like the word translation, because when Chad was throwing it out, it may have gotten lost in translation. Like, how do you translate it?
Right.
I want to have the unarmed applications of the movements. And that's the thing I knew what he's talking about.
Right.
That's only because we heard professor, let's do the translation. And he didn't have a good vocabulary.
It's like the application and the connection combined.
Yeah. So here's the movement with a stick. Now, what if you do it against a blade? What do you do it with the stick in your hand? With a blade? What unarmed?
How's it change? How's it the same? Yep.
Okay. So it's all the same until it isn't. Which will be another topic we're going to tie into this. I love. Okay, once again, here shooting and hitting are different things.
This is true.
Things there. Tim was, I don't know where Tim was. Okay, I talk about it. I've been shooting since I was 5 years old. I could hit the ground 100% of the time.
There you go.
It was 8. I think I was 8 when I was starting hitting on a regular basis that I remember. But my father was a state trooper with 100 acres of property, and when I was visiting with them, bolt action 22 long rifle.
That's why I think the shows kind of get things wrong. Actually, The Last of Us, if anybody watches that show, what I was appreciative on that is they talked about how often you miss. It was great. Most of the time, and just 5 things.
I don't know about that one, but when you saw the reboot of Red Dawn, and, look at all these weapons, and they were shooting with like the machine pistols, and they couldn't hit the damn target.
Nice.
So there we go. So let's get a couple of these comments.
Sure.
I think martial artists are bad about teaching things that they have no expertise in. They should stay in their lane. And this is what I'm talking about. So a lot of people, if you want to teach a stick defense and you're not teaching how the stick moves. If you're any Krav guys out there, I'm going to tell you a story from one of my students. One of my kickboxing students, she also does Krav. Carl agrees exactly. The bunkai of all martial arts styles, systems, muscle. Okay, boom, here we go. So I'm going to tell you what she said. I talked to her, and I listen to the girls talk in the morning, and sometimes I just let them talk, and I'm like, okay. Sometimes people are so passionate about what they do, they don't realize how little they know, and I don't want to burst their bubble unless it is time to burst the bubble. So they're talking about this. I go, hey. So are you doing blade, stick, and firearm disarms? Oh yeah. So are you teaching those techniques? No. We're only self-defense. I'm like, well, to be honest with you, that is the most irresponsible thing I have ever done. I would never teach someone a stick disarm without knowing how the sticks work, blade disarm without knowing how the blade works, and more importantly, there's no way in hell I'm going to do handgun disarms if you've never shot. Chad Doolin, our guy, is picked up things from other people, and he's got, this is awesome for those Ty knows, he has got a 1911 rubber band pistol, a wooden pistol shaped like a 1911, and it shoots rubber bands, so you can shoot each other with consequences. At least I've done stuff with airsoft. And people say, oh, I can do this. And they'll say, well, how would you disarm if this was a gun? I go, I'll show you. But then I'm going to show you the bad thing. So what I did is I did the disarm. It was actually using one of the Crusaders or stuff like that. And then in the back, I've got airsoft pistols as well as face masks from paintball and stuff. So I put it on there. Everyone lined up. I got everyone, here are your goggles. Go here. All right. Now, you let me know. Okay. I'll say now. And then you can go anytime you want. And everybody started with their hands down. By the time they got their hands up, they got shot in the head. Okay, so they understood really quickly. Now I didn't make it a shooting class because there were some teens there, and it's not my place to teach teens firearm stuff. Now we have had courses. Chad has come up, and we've done a shooting course to tie that into self-defense. But at the end of the day, they found out the hard way that they don't know what they're doing. And with that Dust guy out there, I love all the spoofs, the memes they're doing, spoofs on there where they show them doing the disarm and everyone's up in heaven. If you are going to teach someone a defense, okay, what do we do in martial arts? First, you learn to punch and kick, and then you learn the defenses against said punch and kick. Well, if you're going to do weapon self-defense, then you should teach the offensive. So that's where I think it's great that Filipino martial arts desensitizes you to some extent with the weapons. But unfortunately, if you're going there to learn self-defense and all you're teaching is grouping, sombrada, hubud, and senwalis, how much are you helping your students or are you hurting your students?
I would say there's very little carryover, but I will say that. So this touches into the other side of things. What I was going to say about using a stick to train self-defense or any other aspect of martial arts that might pop up that you might use is the other side of it. So not only do we present reasonable attacks that you might have to defend against, but also in a strange situation, improvised weapons are a thing. People will grab the nearest thing and try to hit you with it. So now they have a thing in their hand that you trained with that they're trying to hit you with. And you start knowing where targeting is, where focus is, where people's thought processes go when they have something in their hand to go to you. So you get it from a familiarity side, even if you're not, maybe if you're not going to grab a stick or have one walking around, it doesn't matter. You still learned how it works so that then you can maybe move a little better.
The only thing I'm concerned, then we'll catch up with some of these comments.
Sure.
Is the problem is with Filipino martial artists, we have a tendency in thinking this is okay.
Right.
I will just cut the person. One of our guests, we didn't have that topic with them, but I heard, oh, well, I'll just carry a knife. Yeah, I carry a flashlight.
This is my improvised weapon. My knife is a tool.
This is my everyday carry. Here we go, everybody. See that right there? There's my everyday carry.
Right here.
I have these because I sign things with my own pen. I hate using other people's pens because they usually suck. And I have my flashlight because font has gotten smaller and lighting has gotten worse. It's not that I need glasses. I just look good in them.
So, for me, it's the bad eyes.
Okay, I'm going to go. Well, yeah, it's definitely, when it comes to reading, my eyes are a little jacked up. But the thing here is, why are we grabbing for weapons for every situation?
Right.
You know, we shouldn't need to have a weapon. And actually, the last group of people that need to carry a weapon are Filipino martial artists, because anything we touch can be utilized. Give it to the karate people. They need it. They don't know how to defend themselves.
You were just looking for an excuse to use your training. That's why you had that weapon.
Yeah. Taekwondo people, give them two. No. No, Taekwondo is great. It's the Taekwondo. Those are the guys you got to worry about.
Right.
So let's catch up on a few.
Yeah, we have to catch up on a few. I like the inputs here.
Let me go here. Romeo Bravo. Hey, let's do this one.
That one, yeah.
Did we do that one? Okay.
No, we didn't do that one yet.
I'll click on them and then you read them.
Okay, so Romeo Bravo. A lot of teachers have never been in the shit, and some people have been there, aren't good teachers. Absolutely, bro.
There you go. And great show. Thank you.
Dan, I'm a redneck. We'd have to up the ante on that gun. Right. That's not a gun. This is a gun. To truly defend, from Kurt in Alaska, truly defend, you have to know how to attack. Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you.
Airsoft is great for training. Oh, absolutely. Cowboy fast draw rack slow simunition. Oh, ouch. Yes.
Yeah. We use the Amerex, the T4Es. So this, I don't have one with me. It's in school. So it's a great system. So they got a Glock alike, just like a Glock. I got a Walther PPQ. It acts completely like a regular pistol. It shoots chalk, paint, and rubber rounds, and we use that at the Virginia Academy when Sheepdog goes down there. Mm-hmm. Here we go.
Frank Musto. I only teach gun techniques to my students after a year of getting their license. I assume that's a gun.
Okay.
Right,
yeah,
good. Good. So they've got familiarity, they got control. They got their legs, sea legs.
And there you go, Master Parsons.
Master Rich, how you doing, sir?
Hey, buddy, we finally got the card today. Thank you for helping out with that.
Oh, nice.
The Rich Master Parsons is very experienced in the automotive field and helped us get some good direction. Thank you, sir. Everything worked out perfectly.
Training. So Renee, training adrenal state is a great tool. I've learned more from gatherings than from spar days at clubs. That pressure. Yeah, I get you. Mm-hmm. Terrell, skill development is an important element for training, but it alone is a waste of time for self-defense, right? Because it's in a vacuum. What? And the S hits the fan, and you're like, what?
There you go.
You're dead. Dan Lohman, I hate Lowell, I hate the comments of "That's why I carry a gun" from everyone. Yes.
Still got to deploy it.
Somebody's going to get up in your face and post against you, and you're going to shoot them. I don't think so. Kurt from Alaska again. Knife defense. Do you train how to draw the blade in a defense situation? Moreover, do you train drawing the stick from conceal position? It depends on where you conceal it.
I love Paolo's when he was pulling out the brawn, and his walnuts fell to the ground.
Yep.
You know, and here's what I want to go off a little. Everyone's been like cosplaying John Wick lately online. They're doing the covert draw under the shirt, and actually it's been the last couple of years.
Right.
My mindset was real simple. You go for the draw, and then they're like dueling doing this. I've seen people let's quick draw each other.
Oh,
and then I'm like, I go, okay, we can do that. And I would never go for my knife. I'd go for theirs. I'd go for their arm. I'd be bridging the gap. I mean, why, they got to go for their weapon. I could just go for them.
And while they do it, most people have a really bad position on their structure of their arm. So it's great to pin against them.
Okay. So here we go. Did I do this one? Oh, I got that one. Here's the next one.
Dan Lohman, I agree with this. I purposely don't carry often. I tell people if I need a weapon, I'll take theirs. Right? They brought it to the fight. Thank you, sir.
And boom, perfect segue to a Remyism. Mm-hmm. Your stick is my stick.
All right.
Thank you for bringing my stick.
Or when he got mugged in the elevator. You know that story.
Okay, here. So Remy goes down. Long story short as possible, and he always tells a little bit extra of the story as you went down. So it's just started. The crook he took a knife out and take my wallet. So I take his knife and point it back at him. But then he goes at the end, finally gets the point. Well, he goes, "Give me your wallet." "No, give me yours." And then the door opens up and the guy bolts out. And who's standing in front of Remy? A security guard or whatever. And Remy's got the guy's knife and the guy's wallet.
Right. So his ID and everything.
It's not mine.
Romeo Bravo, go Tye. Yes, flashlight. Pro gun guys, I'm going to shoot the guy with no training. Pro knife guys, I'm going to stab the guy, but don't carry a weapon. Me, thank you for the weapon, and now I use it and get pissed like the third monkey on Noah's Ark and it's raining. Yes. Nice. I like that. Color commentary right in there.
Dude, he fits in very well with Renee. Renee, you're going to have to up your game. Here we got another good guy coming up here in a minute. So,
all right. So Romeo again, I got threatened by Facebook from a gun knife guy's comment. Wow, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah. Yep. Facebook. Okay. Yay. You guys are welcome.
You know what you do? Watch it on YouTube so you can say whatever you want.
There you
go. Thank you. You're welcome. Okay, here we go.
Romeo Bravo. I shot against a cowboy fast draw guy and won. We missed. I got first hit. Oh, he missed. I got first hit. Okay, yeah, he drew faster, but he missed. I got it. Yep.
Here's a good one. A person we haven't heard from a while.
Oh, wow, Tom Carnes. Been a while. How you doing, sir? For the Army, they had guns, grenades, but the hand-to-hand knife defense and such as smaller weapons. They did not have, with both weapons, stick and empty hand, they now had a total combat skill, right? The whole package of all the familiarity in the situations. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I think, let's wrap this topic up.
Sure. I think everybody's on the same page.
You're welcome. Yeah, so Renee, you better step up because Romeo's our new favorite guy. Wait a minute, you know who we need here? It's time for pizza.
Pizza's going to show up pretty soon.
These three would be the unholy trinity giving me shit. So let's tie this part of the topic up. I think from weapon familiarity, Filipino martial arts is one of the best things to study. But if people are coming to you for self-defense and you are not training realistic scenarios,
right, bridging that gap,
you are jeopardizing your student safety. Mm-hmm. That's my opinion. I'm allowed my opinion. And you're not doing real combat because you're not. I've had too many people tell me they're sending warriors to my tournaments. Like, really? They served? Phenomenal. Nope, none of them served. But we have this false sense of ideal what a warrior is. I'm like, warriors are soldiers that go to war. I'm a fighter. I'm not a warrior.
Well, I have a whole rant about that, about the difference between sparring, fighting, contests, posturing, self-defense, war, assassination. All of these things are some sort of combat, but they're so different context again. All right, so Kurt has another comment.
Yeah, I was actually looking at a. Let's see. You look at that. I'm looking at a different post there.
Kurt from Alaska again. Unfortunately for the MACP, most units didn't have time to train combatives as part of their training cycles because of mandatory PowerPoint training. Well, that works really well, right? You're getting attacked, and you say, "Hold on a second, I've got a PowerPoint you need to watch."
Well, wait a minute. When we taught at the academy, we had to do a PowerPoint as well, Ty.
Yep,
fortunately, Chad was around for that portion.
Chad did well. He's good at that. I mean, the connection he makes for everybody. It helps that he, from that field.
He gets it over with, does the quota, and then we're on.
Yep.
So, listen, if your students, some arts are not, listen, I think many of the Filipino martial arts as a whole has the potential, but people are not teaching the elements for how to protect themselves in realistic scenarios. And how do you figure out a realistic scenario? Sit down and talk about it. Hey, what if the guy pulls up this? Like, when was the last time, if all you ever practice with is a light hunk or a tan, I think you're doing the art, and the art can help you. But so I had Dr. G come over, Bono Grandmaster. Mm-hmm. He's swinging padded sticks at us. I'm like, yeah, what's this going to be like? Almost broke my freaking wrist.
Right.
Because I had thin rattan. Now all of a sudden, inside of Remy's group, I had some of the thickest sticks out there, 1.25 inches to 1.5 inches, because I could block with it. I also had to change my block. I had to reinforce with my wrist. And then I was like, all right. Then we started I'd have axe handles and baseball bats and stuff of that nature around my school. And my favorite stick now is an axe handle I got from Orlando Eskrima. So I go back and forth. Matter of fact, on the test that I sat in on, the Doce Pares test down in Glen Burnie, or at Kick Connection, I pulled out my axe handle and gave it to one of the guys attacking. They're doing self-defense. Really? Here, hold on. Here. Boom. Nice. Take that.
Nice.
There you go.
Danny's on a roll today. Oh, man, rattan, and those who carry rattan in their vehicles as protection. Yes.
There we go. Well, hey, listen, when was the last time you saw a hunk of rattan at Lowe's or Home Depot?
I like the tire thumpers. You get at truck stops.
So when people talk about stuff, if you're not, once again, if you want to listen, there's martial art, there's martial sport, there's martial combat. I've got no problem with any or all. I do all three. Mm-hmm. But when I'm doing one, I make sure we understand, oh, guys, now what would this, okay, now we did a technique flow. Okay, it's a flow, which makes it a what, everybody? It's a drill. So what do drills build? They build skills. Okay, so we're all on that same page that what we're doing at the moment is about skill development, not about practical application. And Renee is stepping up. So axe handle, yes. Here we go. And I haven't seen this yet. Renee, I'm going to click on this and see. Read it? I'm going to have you read it because when I put my cursor on it, it blacked it all out. Okay. It's in the queue, ready to go, but I want to see if Renee has stepped up his game to meet with the others.
All right, Renee. Hey, what about protecting yourself legally? Posting videos of you stabbing and killing won't help you if something actually happens. I love that one.
No, wasn't what I was thinking it was going, but that's a phenomenal post. Thank you, Renee.
Yep.
Listen, at the end of the day, you have to. So when Dr. G would teach us, he goes, back in the day, you had to worry about the alphabet. ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, Fox. You had to worry about all the networks. Now you got to worry about social media, SM.
And if you go around the place and say this, that, and the other thing will kill.
Everybody's got one of these.
That's right. You go around the place saying this, that, or the other thing will kill, and then you have that on you and you get in an altercation. That's not going to look good.
Okay, here's we got another one. This is great. This is a phenomenal show. Listen, everybody, thank you for contributing so much. We've been averaging 20 people the whole time live, which means how many people are really watching, according to this. All right, here we go. Depends on the laws and doctrine. Okay, here we go. And the big one for you.
Doctrine. I love it. Yeah.
Oh, where'd it go? Didn't. Okay. Boom.
Dexter James, I've been to war. The best thing I've learned is you never want to be in a fair fight. Yeah, if you're getting a fair fight, you're doing something wrong. It put the odds in your favor, but that's the concept missing from martial arts sports training. The techniques are great and all, but the mentality only comes down to a fair fight. And if you're doing it right, because you shouldn't have gotten the fight in the first place, you better make sure that you win. Renee, in Canada, it's not going to help you. Yes.
My mindset, so one of my guys, he's teaching MMA now. Primo Luciano, phenomenal. Who's a cage fighter, champion at one time.
Yep.
One of my black belts. We were rolling. He's not in my weight division. He's much smaller than me. He took me down. And we rolled into a stack of my Reebok aerobic steps. I grabbed the top step. I lifted up to smack him with it, and I stopped and tapped out because I realized at that moment I almost played the wrong game. Because
it's a good lesson on both sides.
Yeah, I was like, okay. Fortunately, I tell my students, you got to know when to be able to turn a switch on and when to turn it off.
Yeah, if you can tap into that escalation when you need it, that is gold.
See, my mindset is I don't want to fight people because I know how I can get.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I can't tell you how many guys when I was coming up, because I was a smaller guy, I got picked on. I was a target. I would do groin kicks. I poked eyes. I bit people when I was getting choked. I pulled hair. I did everything that's not fair. Well, you know what the fair thing would have been? Leave me alone. That would have been the fair thing, numbnuts.
Yep.
Now you're numbnuts.
If it's a real fight, I think all bets are off. Come on now. Kurt, naive FMA student. I'm gonna stick fight against an armed assailant with a rifle at elevated position from behind cover.
Yeah, yep. I love you guys.
And Romeo says to Renee, Kokolo, Canada always blames the victim these days.
Yep. Oh yeah, and Kurt, thank you for your service. Yep.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, I'm going to sum my theory is I think what we have is great, but we.
Sorry. We'll let everyone else read that.
No, I didn't use that. I didn't pick up feces and rub it in people's face. But if I had pooped myself, I would have.
Right. I always figured, hey, if you get your hand chopped off, I'm going to spray the blood in their eyes because it blinds them really good, and then I'll continue.
There we go. So my mindset is we have phenomenal stuff, but we need to train for said scenarios.
Yep.
If we're not doing it, is it? When I was bouncing, I had been that 300-pound dudes had hit with chairs, not martial arts. Yes.
Yep.
One rule: I win, go home intact.
I win, I go home.
I use the tuna fish can. Okay. Fish. Okay, we got it.
Yep.
So, if we're going to claim self-defense and what we're teaching, make sure you're putting things in the proper context.
Yep.
If all you're doing is your drills, then you're doing your students a disservice. To make sure that you help them.
Yep.
Once I had a guy with a knife, and he wanted to fight. He didn't want to fight. Oh, all right. All right. So, what do you have for this as a wrap up?
I don't got anything. I think the context is key. Again, that's worth saying. Don't teach what you don't know. So if you're trying to teach self-defense, make sure there's a connection that makes sense, or make sure you've checked with people, or make sure you've maybe even talked with people that have had to live things that you haven't.
You don't have to fight to be able to teach this stuff, because we know coaches who've never done, but they're good at coaching people.
Yep. Steve Benko, wow, enjoyed the topic immensely. Thank you, gentlemen. My philosophy is defeat an animal. You must be good. I love over-escalating, yes.
There you go.
I don't know who you're calling gentlemen, but yes.
Hey, listen, yeah. If this was supposed to be even, we wouldn't be training.
We're breaking the even already just by training. Maybe if we're doing training.
It right. My mindset is that I have the advantage, which gives me the ability to walk away, unless I've been cornered and I don't have that, or I'm protecting people around me that cannot protect themselves. But I'm always looking for that door.
Yep.
But okay.
Plus, there's no guarantees, right? So self-defense, the best thing is don't be there.
Well, there you go. Hey, you pussy. Okay.
All right.
I am what I eat, and I'm going to walk away. So thank you, Romeo. All right. So let's go to the next topic here. And I'm going to do my thing.
Which one is it?
I think we do ambidextrous.
Okay.
Ambidextrous. And I'll be right back. I'll be listening.
All right, good. So ambidextrous. That came up recently. Oh, let me see what Renee said. Favorite national disarm is hitting the person with my truck, right? I just like disarming people.
And then
you have the advantage if you have trained it properly. Right. It depends on what you're doing. Yep.
Yeah.
So to the topic at hand, right? Should we train to be ambidextrous? That's come up because a few things, but I remember Paolo Rubio, our friend, asked that on one of his questions, which he loves to ask the leading questions, which help start a conversation, which I appreciate. Sometimes people emphasize that, and he was like, "Why?" Just asking the question, right? So I thought that was good. I think, from my perspective, I'll go ahead and start it since Tim's not here. Training ambidextrous, I think that's already got it a little bit wrong. If you train multi-hands, and I think you should, and we'll get to that in a little bit, if you train your other hand to inform, and like I said, we'll get into that in a second, you're still not going to train to be ambidextrous. It takes years, decades to be ambidextrous, and it really helps if you pick a hand early on and then you start training right on. The only ambidextrous people I know are people that were left-handed that were forced to use their right hand. So that's a lifetime of training to be ambidextrous. Even if we expose our other hand, we're not training to be ambidextrous. But what we are doing is good, and so we can talk about that in a little bit. But I'll let Tim go.
So Remy Prasis was the best righty you'd want to know, and he was left-handed, and he learned to become right-handed to teach. So he'd been doing it for decades. He stressed us to be able to do things with both hands.
Mm-hmm.
My mindset is 70-30. I know some people say train both hands equally. Others say train your primary hand. When we're talking about weapon techniques specifically, train your strong hand is so good that you don't have to switch hands. Mm-hmm. My mindset is that I don't know what hand the tool's going to end up in for whatever reason. Or what if I'm injured? Because there's the other.
Or just what we talked about before in the previous discussion, right? We talked about, hey, if you're working against a person with a weapon, in this case, you're working against a left-hander and you're never seen that before. Mm-hmm. People talk about it with boxing, right? Southpaws used to throw, unexperienced people out of kilter. So there's that. I will also go on to the proven physiological effect of training an opposite side still improves, one, your mental connection through your musculature and your nerve firings, and as well as the other side. So I'm proof of that. When I had my biceps tendon reattached, I trained my left hand a lot and kept on lifting and all those kinds of good things. And that made the recovery so much faster. Mm-hmm. I didn't lose any strength. The transfer is real. And what's more, like I said, once you start thinking from different sides of your body and thinking through the problems and forcing your bad hand to do something at least once, even you're not going to get good at it, but understanding it from the I don't get it side, I think is very illustrative. My take.
When we do Sinwalis, you got to remember when you're using your right hand, you're using your left hemisphere. We need to do things with both hands. Penn and Teller were part of a study where they talked about how much using juggling was stimulating both sides of the brain. From that point alone, I think the Sinwali drills and stuff we do are phenomenal, priceless. When I spar, I will switch from right hand to left, back and forth, because I like throwing my opponent off, because like Ty said, the southpaw. And I had some lefties that were so good that when they were on point, I had to go left hand. They said, stop doing that. What do you mean? I'm not used to a lefty. Well, neither am I, so deal with it. Suck it up, Buttercup.
Perfect.
And it would throw their game off. It was just enough. If I was a little off and they were on point, like, all right, I got to do whatever it takes.
Yep.
When it comes to open hand, I like doing both sides, because what if I get my ribs cracked? Right. All right, I switch it up. I don't think that's going to happen in the fight when it comes to weapons. I think it's going to be too fast for you to do that kind of, smash my hand. But once again, if whatever reason the weapon ends up in my left hand, I want to be functional, not necessarily proficient. So, you see some POS car, piece of shit car that's driving down the road, spitting black smoke and all that. It's still getting down the road. Mm-hmm. It's getting the job done. Sure. So that's where I am with my weak hand. My mindset is when it comes to weapon fighting, I want to be proficient, skilled with my primary, and I want to be functional with my offhand in case whatever reason it ends up in there. But I also believe with doing the right-handed techniques, your left hand should be engaged the whole time. Absolutely. Your live hand should be doing everything. It should be checking, grabbing, punching. And I think today, like the modern day application of multiple weapons like a stick and dagger, a sword and dagger, isn't to use the dagger. It's to get the live hand engaged, whether it's punching or checking or grabbing. Once they get used to doing that, it's easy to put it in there all the time. But if I remember someone from Europe coming over and training with us to do Balintawak, and I could tell they were doing a sword art because they never used their live hand. But the person was phenomenal with everything. It wasn't the fact that they couldn't use the live hand. They never thought about using the live hand. They had all the manual dexterity to do everything because I've seen the person do stuff. And I'm like, why can't you get your live hand? Because they're thinking more like fencing than anything else.
Yeah, well,
you do traditional versus a sport fencing, the live hand would have been because you can parry the blade down and do stuff. But
I remember one of the lessons early I got from Remy was he said many times he would say your live hand is your most deadly hand.
Okay, here we go. Let's get caught up here.
Let's see. No, training for ambidexterity, I think is what he's talking about. No, that's a waste of time because you never will be. Yeah, you're not. It's not going to happen unless you devoted your life to it. Dexter, exactly, because you have legal. Oh, this is back to the
avoid a fight. Yeah,
right. Avoid the fight. Yep. Okay. Gotcha, Dexter. Yep. Kurt, training for ambidexterity. Wow, I'm messed up tonight. Is great for neurological load and complex cross body patterns. Exactly. Yep. No, I agree. I think people can overemphasize it and think they're getting what they're not getting. That's all. Yeah. Frank Musto, thank you for all the insights. Injuries have changed my training, especially after the shoulder injury. Yeah, I had the same thing with my arm.
I'm going to talk about that one specifically. Yep. So one of my guys is a ex-cop, and he retired on the job fine, but his torn rotator cuff and everything with his right hand. So he used to stick fight left-handed because his right hand couldn't do. But that was actually good because you could do baton in one hand. He could do baton asp with his weak hand and shoot with his strong hand because he still could shoot. He just, when it came to pulling it up here, he just didn't have, so he would do it left-handed. Also, when I do my teaching, and I'd be curious to see what other people do this, if someone carries a firearm for personal protection or it's a profession and they're carrying it on their hip, I always tell them strong side back, forget about our footwork because firearm protocols supersede everything else.
Right.
In my mind. Okay, here we go.
Renee, yes, both hands all the time for many different reasons. For me, injury, double your chances to hit, and sometimes it feels like a stranger is giving you well, one of the things I noticed, so Remy, if you watch him, he was doing very basic stuff. When he had to do two-hand training, he was training both at the same time. So sometimes you do the same motion at the same time to reinforce from both sides of the brain at the same exact time. It was
when I would do my angles of attack and you wanted to do it left hand, I couldn't do it. So what did I do? I did them both simultaneously. So a lot of times when Remy would do a double feed, it wasn't because you were doing two weapons. It was trying to get your offhand to mimic what your strong hand was doing.
Yep. Reinforce that training. Danny says, what are you training for and how long do you have to train? It is one thing to have trained it, for exposure, but you will never be totally equal on both sides. Absolutely.
On.
D-Man, working the other hand makes you conscious of that other hand, and you'll be more able to use it when you need it. Block, punch, grab, the live hand side, and also the application. Yeah, gotcha. Like I said, I still want to reinforce the idea that now if you're just like if you train knife techniques, you have to know when a knife does to you. You have to know what the other hand does to you to get used to it. Tom Carnes, some, not all that trained me had the left hand. The sacrifice so you could use the live hand and strike or get that ending shot in.
Okay. And of course,
Windows.
Eric just got back from the gym.
All right, Eric. Thanks for joining us, Eric. I guess that's a good show. See you guys later.
See you all later. So, I don't think this is a long, drawn-out topic. I think there's good attributes for doing that, and there's some good reasoning. Sure. I don't think that to have that equality on both sides is. I don't know.
Not worth the squeeze. You're already an expert on your good hand, so you're going to start over from scratch.
Yeah. So I like both hands at the same time. I like the Sinwalis. There's a whole bunch of medicinal. Actually, here's another thing too: is think about this from a holistic point of view. You want to train both hands, but not expect that level of proficiency. Quarterbacks and baseball players, usually their throwing arm is longer than the other because they're constantly throwing and extending that arm out. So, when we're boxing, generally, back in the day, you didn't switch leads. Now you'll see that more often. But when you think about this, I'm only doing certain techniques from certain angles. I want to do everything like going to the gym. you don't lift 20 pounds with one hand and 100 pounds with the other. I mean, you try to lift equally. So from that point alone, I think it's more of a holistic thing as well. So of course, Eric thinks we're being funny, and here we go.
Check out Cognitive Kali to see the neurological benefits of ambidextrous. And I think that's the key, is that neurological action. You can get a lot more juice for the squeeze for some of the benefits there.
Yeah, cool. So let's do the last topic of the day, is using this. Oh, here we go. Hold on.
Uh-oh. Denny, I often have students work their off hands first, then go to their dominant side. Works neurologically and helps the frustration level by ending up on their strong side.
So
nice.
This is good. So listen, everybody, if you're teaching people how to kick, or you're doing kicking sets, make sure they finish on their strong side.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If you're doing angles of attack and you're going to have them do both hands, you might start, even if you start on the strong side, make sure they finish on that strong side. Let them finish with a win. From a psychological point of view only, it's going to make them.
Yep. Positive reinforcement. Eric, I like training both hands. Gym metaphors applies.
Okay, yep. There we go. All right. So let's hit our last topic. Is a stick and a blade the same?
Oh, no.
It's the same until it isn't.
Yes.
Sir, why don't you come out swinging on this one?
Oh, me? Oh, okay. I how can I sum this up? So I think having a weapon in your hand of a similar range, there are some things that are applicable. I absolutely think that you have to change the character of what you're doing. Are you clubbing? Are you slicing? Are you poking? Are you prodding? Totally changes how you move and what your follow throughs and the angles are and things like that. However, range might be somewhat comparable. It really depends. But in general, I would say no. However, the tools of the at hand that you're trying to teach or flow or start with are steps in directions that can overlap a little bit. I just think people overplay that they're the same. On the same side, I think they overplay that they're different. They really are. However, you can use, I think, some one for the other as a stand-in if you know what the context of that purpose is. So I'll caveat it that way.
Okay.
And then Tim's going to say, no, you're wrong, Ty. Just
you're wrong, Ty.
There you go. I'm used to that. That's why I got the PhD, so I can be wrong.
There we go. No,
seriously, actually, that's why you get them.
Here's my mindset on this. You can definitely use a stick as a substitute for a blade for training, providing you pull the reps with the blade. So, so let's do this here. So Danny said no for whatever reason there, and then
that was no. Are they the same?
And Dean just landed. So hey, good to be back on the right coast, brother. Get off that left coast. Actually, it's more not quite the coast. Okay, so here's the problem.
And you got to remember, yep.
Here are the rules. So we're talking the ultimate use of the weapon, the most destructive use of the weapon. Sticks break bones, steel cuts flesh. That's rule number 1. Rule number 2 is you cannot change rule number 1. Now, you can change the targets with an impact weapon to be more subdual. So that's the whole ASP system for police officers. Instead of they don't target bone to break, they target muscle regions, usually the thigh, to cause spasms in the leg, to have people go down, and they're doing subdual. They're not trying to create permanent damage.
Right.
So you take a blade and apply it to a bony region, you may have just lost that tool.
You may have. And back to your thigh thing, you're taking a cudgel to that thigh muscle, even though it's the same target as a blade. The power generation and the follow through is different depending if you're slashing or chopping. And so if you do a cudgel, it's more like a chop, sort of.
Yeah. With a stick, we'll do a lot of hit and rechamber.
Yep.
Okay, we can do follow through, but you really don't. Doing a blade like that would be harder because generally speaking, and we're talking, all things got to be the same. I'm not talking about a knife. If we're talking about a 28-inch stick, we're talking, oh, shitty. You just got here. You got way too late, buddy.
We didn't make it.
Late. Way too late, because now we've got Tom Carnes We got Romeo Bravo, and Renee. We don't need the fourth stooge here. Sorry, bud. You're way too late. You missed your spot.
Plus, I didn't understand what his post meant.
No,
Sorry,
I don't know.
Signed up for 3 for leadership. Anyway. Oh,
Yeah,
signed up 3 for. Okay, he signed up 3 people. Got it.
Okay, leadership just left. Okay, so
Awesome.
with the stick, we have a tendency of having that ability. I think there's too much mass of a blade of that size. When you think it's made of metal, you probably have to follow through a lot more. We're more committed. Where a stick, you might have a little more ability to do. Also, you can do more dos manos, where you can't really do that with the blade.
Also have the weird feather touches, like the retreating and advancing slicing. You're not doing that with a stick. You might do that with a blade, depending on the nature of the blade.
When I train my blade, when I train with blades, I'm more cutting.
Mm-hmm.
If you swing a blade like a stick, now you've just created a chopping tool. And if you do not train it to go for the appropriate regions, you may break or lose your weapon because it's stuck in the target. So let's go to earlier shows of Forge and Fire. I got a little upset at some of the judging because if you watched, Doug Marqueta sometimes blew his swings. Sometimes he'd go for a decapitation and he would take one head off of the dummy, and then he'd do it another one and he chopped into the skull and it caused damage to the blade. And it's unfair for the contestants because one chopped into the skull and the other one chopped into the spinal area. So I mean, and the mass is completely different, you know. So now we're talking, you know, we're talking custom weapons, of course. We're not talking what the norm would be. But the thing here is, and I'm surprised that our comments have slowed down.
Maybe they froze on us, or they all left. They can only handle so much of us.
Yeah, I think we're up 22 at the moment. Yep. That's cool. When we look at all this stuff, I think the thing here is that if you're used to swinging a stick all the time and you put a blade in your hand, you're going to swing it like a stick.
Yep.
If you're doing blade work all the time and use a stick instead, you're going to swing it like a blade. Now, it doesn't mean you can't use it.
Right.
But there's going to be a difference. They missed my 3 cents in input.
I don't want your input, man. That scared me.
I just want your 3 cents.
That's right. Give me my money.
Give me my money. No, I see it all the time. It's funny because before the metal trainers came out, before good trainers came out, I used to watch everybody, including the Pikiti guys, practice, and everyone had a stick. No one was using blade, and I'm like, dude, you're not using that stick the right way. It's just not working.
No, I love this one. So Danny again is on point. He's on a roll today. Point and edge awareness is a must. Edge weapons are usually heavier, and the mechanics of striking with an impact weapon is a bit different than a bladed weapon. Well, what we should have done is say, "Hey, Danny, join us."
Yeah,
I know we're wrapping up. So, did you get the Matt? Okay, you can get this one. So wrap up is stick fighting for self-defense the way. Wait, wrap up is stick fighting for self-defense the way. Oh, I see.
It's not.
That's 2 topics ago.
Yeah, watch the beginning of the show. We just basically said it was good awareness of the tool, but unless you're practicing realistic scenarios, it's useless.
The context.
Yeah, there you go.
And Matt Jones, what is the difference between Kali, Eskrima, and Arnis?
Okay, Matt, right off the bat, Eskrima with an I and a K, and Arnis are the same thing. Kali doesn't exist. Here's a funny. Doug Marqueta's brother, RJ, who's a friend of mine, taught a seminar recently, and he goes, "Hey, what's this Kali stuff?" And so Hartman, so you do Kali and Hartman does Arnis, and RJ goes, "No. Americans call it Kali. Everyone else calls it Arnis. Don't let them fool you." It was a marketing thing. Kali is not in the Filipino language, and we've checked that on multiple occasions, but they've adopted that term in their terminology. But really, it's just like all saying karate, but different.
There you go.
Yep, and Kali was the war
And you
god.
have Kurt before that. I love this one. Kurt, again, from Alaska, also on a roll. Tools and targets determine application and usage. Imagine that. No, that's
Yep.
perfect.
And spelling, the spelling.
The spelling.
Yeah. So,
The spelling. That's what he's saying. The
It's
difference
good,
between
it's good, man.
exactly. Oh, there are different words with different letters, and yeah,
Yeah, it's all good. It's all the same. It's all the same.
nice one.
Listen, it's just say well, I wouldn't say martial arts because Filipino martial arts has a lot more diversity than just being a weapon system. You have the Yao Yan, you have Sikran, you have Kuntao. You've got a whole bunch of open hand stuff in there as well. Unfortunately, the stick, I don't want to say it's unfortunate, but well, no, it is unfortunate. Sometimes the weaponized systems overshadow the diversity of that area. I mean, you think of when you think of say Korea, you think of Taekwondo, but there's plenty of other systems there.
Right.
Hapkido and stuff like that. Gumdo. I am the god of pizzas. A zip.
That's it. That's the name of the gun.
Okay.
So yeah, if you tell people to do Filipino martial arts, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to think either you're doing stick, just that, only stick, nothing else, or you're doing a blade, only that, nothing else. It's unfortunate that lack of visibility.
Yeah. So is what it is. Yeah, I think we kind of just nailed it right there.
It seemed like everybody, all of us were pretty much on the same page.
On
We had
point.
20, 30 people, and everybody was on similar points. And I love some of the things that people brought to the table. That was really nice.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing show so far. Listen, I didn't say this before. Everybody, please, as always, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share wherever you feel appropriate.
It's another one of those unfortunate things. So a quote that he's gotten is, Rich, hey, for a stick guy, you really understand joint locks. But Rich, you get a lot of those quotes. Hey, for a big guy, you're very sensitive, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Did you guys get the freezing rain yet? I didn't get any.
I got 3 inches of snow today.
We got a couple flurries yesterday, but no sticking.
Yeah, no, we had the ice storm last week where my car was encapsulated.
Nice. That's right. Yep.
Okay.
Oh no, should make a Rumble account. I have one of the biggest karate channels on there.
What's
Freezing
Rumble?
Rain and Ice. So Rich got, I don't know actually. Rumble account. Oh, everybody should make a run on account. He's got the is that Bongino's thing or something like that? I can't remember.
Freezing Rain and Ice. Okay, that's there. And then
Frank Musfield. Thanks, gentlemen. It's great spending time with you. Got to go to bed. No, Frank, thanks for joining in.
Thank you.
Eric, our snow is gone. Rich, and I got picked on like Tim, but as the big guy. Yes, because it's smart to pick on the big guy. Rumble Video. Oh, okay.
I still don't know what Rumble Video is.
I don't know either. Yeah.
Now I'm gonna have to Google it.
Like Burgers King, Rumble, YouTube, McDonald's. Okay. So it's an alternate source.
There's several out there I've been watching. Have been popping up, but I think this is one that has very little filters on it. And I'm pretty sure I've seen this before. But it also just doesn't have the.
It's weird. I noticed when on the comments on the side, Matt Jones is always pop up like somehow after others pop up, but they're on top of them. I don't know how he does that.
Yeah, I don't know either.
It's weird. He goes, "Oops, sorry," but I had no reason to bring that one up.
Yeah, I mean, you could drop this. I've seen this before.
Okay.
It's a new video channel. It looks a lot like YouTube.
So you can find out who he is because all you got to do is find the biggest karate channel on there, and that's probably him or one of the biggest.
Oh yeah.
And he just said it. There you go. And Zach Harper says, "Hey, Datu and PG Ty." Thanks, Zach. Good to see you on here.
I'll see you in a couple weeks as we do our Florida camp.
Yes.
I'm looking forward.
Yeah, I was gonna crash you at Brock's, and then I just didn't. I couldn't get my act together. So
I had a vibe that you were thinking about that.
So I didn't do it just to keep you on your toes.
That's okay. We filled the place.
Brock's is a fun time.
Yeah. Then we did went over curriculum. We did some spear work. Okay, here, let's get the count up here. Okay, we already did that. Did that one. Oh, there we go.
Very informative show. Thank you, sir.
All
you had a great week too.
Looking forward to it. Yep.
Clear. Okay, so Canada is good. Clear.
Okay.
Danny, yeah, no, good time. And yeah, we should have. I was thinking, I don't know if he can. Can he pop on? He's popped on once before.
We've had him on the show, but I could easily put him in like in a.
Well, I mean, we're to end up now. We should have.
Yeah,
done
we're ending as we. I mean, but I could easily say, don't be surprised. Okay.
Remind us, Danny. It's a
All right,
date.
so
How's that?
let's talk about this. What next week is going to be about? Next week, here we go. The Double Datu show.
Mm-hmm.
Datu Kelly Wharton will be on talking about how modern he's got at the Pacific Northwest.
Nice.
I got to drop my line this week. Just to remind him, hey, bud, next week,
I've never met him, so this will be great.
Yep, he is very outspoken. He'll fit right in.
No, it'll be good. Yeah. Hey, we have some things in common too. Is he here with motorcycles and me being born in just a few miles away up in Anacortes, Washington?
I'm really looking forward to it. Let's see.
Yes. Let's see. Good time as usual. Thank you. Yep. Ohio, Double Datu Impact. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, Zach. Yep. We'll be on next week.
Okay.
Monday at 8:30, right?
Datu like Morgan. Datu. Okay, Morgan Mindy. Yeah,
right.
Got it. Nice. Got it. We're old enough.
But it is still 8:30, right? Next week.
Yes, same time. Yeah, I talked to him already.
So Datu Tim, Datu Kelly, and then some bald weirdo.
Yeah. So, but we're the focal point is going to be about
Northwest.
Pacific Northwest, how we started doing it there. And the thing here is the camp started here on the East Coast. 1983, West Virginia, they did one. Then he moved up north. A group that split off from him did a camp the following year, and that's where people are a little confused on that. Looking forward to next episode, the Datus. Yes.
There you go.
Discussion, interesting topics. You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, D-Man.
And then
you can catch it later. Yep.
9:30. Yep. Yeah, we got what you're saying. All right. So that'll be next week's show. And then Guru Arrow is supposed to be on the week after is what we're shooting for. Okay, here we go.
Where did Remy call home even though 45 weeks a year he was teaching? Yeah. He was a nomad.
So Remy had kids up in Victoria.
Yep.
He also had property in Florida, and he liked going to North Carolina.
Yep.
But listen, everyone's got stories for how long Remy spent time with them, but he didn't do that permanently. So he spent months in Rocky's house with his family. He moved in with Remy's parents. I mean, Remy moved in with Rocky's parents, basically. So that was for 2 to 3 months. It wasn't all year round. It wasn't multiple years in a row. It was I want to say it's just a one-off. But then
even on other years, right? He turned into a pumpkin. Was it January-ish and hung up his hat wherever he was?
Yeah. So I mean, he's done that. He stayed for a month or two maybe down in Florida. Well, actually, if you look at the schedule, probably the most he stayed everywhere is about a month.
Yeah.
So January, you'd still teach seminars in December, and then January was his month off, and that was wherever. But when I hear all these stories about, Remy spent all this time and we saw him every day, he couldn't have. Look at his seminar schedule. And when he had free time, where would he go? I mean, when he was diagnosed, he had 2 kids, a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old. Do you really think he was looking to spend time with us? Or do you think when he had free time, he wanted to go hang out with his family?
Yep.
You be the judge, But it's all about context and perception and stories told and people listening and talking about something. Snowbound states sounds like LOL. Okay. All right. So listen, next week's show is going to be awesome.
Yep.
Looking forward to it. Hopefully a lot of people will be coming on and participating like today.
That'll be great. Yes, please do come on, bring questions, show Datu Kelly some support and us too a little bit, but a new guest is always good.
I'm looking at a trend that we've been getting stronger and stronger for our live shows all the time. We really have had more people participating. I mean, today's show was amazing.
That participation was
absolutely amazing. And as far as the rest of the stuff goes, good topics, good interaction. I'm looking forward to more good guests out there. Okay, that's what I was looking for, but I went too fast. Okay, not bad. And like I said, we've got some things we're going to talk about. Ty and I are going to sign off. Of course, we're going to shoot the bull for a few minutes before we both turn into pumpkins. Listen, as always, everybody, please, thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. Everyone stay safe and stay sane. This is Datu Tim.
BG Ty. Take care.
We'll see you all soon.